Yo, what's going on everyone? Nelson and Kevin from Hoop Life. In this video, we are going to go over the top 5 basketball rules that people get wrong and misinterpret in a pickup game.
Because you'll be surprised, some of these rules that get misinterpreted cause the biggest arguments or fights at the gym or at the park wherever we're playing ball. Man, from personal experience, this is why we're making a video.
For real, no, especially for me, man. I got in a huge argument with this guy at the gym at LA Fitness in regards to one of these rules, and we went, I was so heated that I was like, you know what? I am gonna go make a video on these rules right now and then post this video and have LA Fitness play the video while people are hooping so they know the rules.
And Nelson told the guy to meet him in a parking lot. Just kidding. Nah, we don't do that. No violence, alright?
And just a disclaimer, some of these rules are different from high school, college, and NBA, but we'll get into that. Rule number 1, rebounding your own air ball. This is probably one of the most common rules, that people get misinterpreted in the pickup games, whether it's at the gym or at the park. But to break this down,
this is a perfect example of the disclaimer.
Yes, in high school and college rules, you are allowed to rebound your own air ball as long as it is a shot attempt. But in the NBA, you cannot rebound your own air ball.
So when we're talking about a shot attempt and being an air ball and being able to catch your own air ball, this is a means of interpretation by the ref that is officiating your game. So basically, if you shoot the ball and they think it's a shot attempt, a layup attempt, and you air ball and you get your own ball, you can go back up. But if they think you're just tossing the ball up and it's not a shot attempt, they could possibly call it travel. So It really depends on interpretation of ref.
So let's just say your shot attempt is an air ball, whether it was a layup or or an outside jump shot. You airball it, you're able to retrieve and rebound your own air ball, and you're able to actually dribble afterwards or shoot it again or pass it to a teammate.
But if it's an NBA, even if you shot the ball and you airballed, if no one else touches the ball, you cannot be the first one to touch that ball or else it'll be a travel. Alright guys, so that was a perfect example disclaimer. That was an NBA rule that is different from high school and college. So going to another disclaimer is it really depends what rules that people are playing with at the gym, right? So personally, Nelson and I playing at different places, whether it's LA Fitness 24-hour or a closed room where our friends and I rent out a gym. Some people play NBA rules, some people play college or high school rules, right? So when we play pickup ball, we actually allow that you can catch your own air ball because that's high school and college rules. But we played with plenty of people at the gym, especially at LA Fitness. We're like, oh, you can't catch your own air ball. That's a rule, that's an NBA rule, and I totally understand. So it really depends on who you're playing with, and you gotta know the rules, right? So it's kind of flexible when it comes to pickup ball. And most rec leagues that people play in are affiliated with high school and college rules anyways.
So that's what I'm saying. So if you're playing in a rec league, most of those rec leagues, like you said, go by high school and college rules. So if you go to the park or you go to the gym, you might as well just follow those rules. Rule number 2, when the ball hits the side of the backboard or goes over the backboard. This rule, a lot of people misinterpret a lot in the gym. If the basketball hits the 4 sides of the backboard, whether it's the sides, the bottom of the backboard, or the top of the backboard, as long as it doesn't go over to the back, it's still in fair play. The only times it's out of bounds is if the ball goes over and top and behind the backboard, then it is out of bounds. So if the ball hits the top of the backboard but comes back forward, it's still in play.
Or another variation off this rule, if the ball hits the rim and actually bounces over the backboard, doesn't make contact with the top of the backboard, it's still considered out of bounds.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know that either. They may know that if it hits the top of the backboard and goes over, it's out of bounds. But there's been times where a high bounce and it goes over and it doesn't touch the backboard, people still think it's in play, but it's actually out of bounds. Right. So I just want to put that out there as well.
Also, you cannot shoot the basketball from behind the backboard into the hoop. I know a lot of you guys seen the NBA players do it.
Kobe.
But this is another rule where high school, college is different from NBA. In high school and college, you cannot shoot the ball from behind the backboard. That is considered out of bounds. But in the NBA, you can.
We also want to verify with that rule, that is different from being in the corner when you're actually so-called behind the backboard and you shoot the ball. Because that's not going over the backboard. You might be positioned behind the backboard.
Because the court is still, part of that corner of the court is still behind the backboard.
So I just want to throw it out there also if that seems like it kind of conflicts with shooting over the backboard. So in the NBA this is legal, but in high school and college rules it is not. Also, anytime when the ball hits any part of the structural support of the basket is considered out of bounds, such as a pole holding the backboard or the pole coming down when the backboard comes up and down. Also, if you're playing in a gym where it has side courts and they didn't put it up for the game and it's actually down on the sides, and say the ball gets deflected and it hits the backboard or hits the side courts, that's also considered out of bounds. So basically, anytime the ball hits any part of a structural support, whether it's for the backboard, the side courts, or even the ceiling. If you're playing in a gym that actually has a low ceiling and the ball gets deflected up really high and it actually makes contact with the roof, that's actually really rare, but if it does, that is also considered out of bounds. Moving on to rule number 3, the kickball. Alright guys, so this is one of the biggest rules that's also misinterpreted.
Which is also misinterpreted because of judgment too.
Yeah. So this is also another rule where the referee makes a judgment. So anytime a person intentionally kicks their leg out or is in the motion of moving their leg or kicking their leg out, it's considered a kickball. But let's just say, for example, Nelson is standing right there and I decide to chuck the ball at his leg and it hits his foot, but he wasn't moving. That is not a kickball.
Still in fair play.
Yeah. Another thing why it's up to interpretation of the ref is, say sometimes, for example, Nelson is running down the court and I chuck a bounce pass and it hits the back of Nelson's legs, but he was just running down the court.
I wasn't looking, it just so happened to hit me in the back of the leg.
Yeah, even though he's in a motion of kicking his legs, it was not an intentional kick. So this, like I said, this is based off the interpretation of the ref. So if it looks like Nelson did not intentionally try to move his leg to get in the way of the ball, it is not a kickball and it is fair play. Once again, this is based off the interpretation of the ref, but anytime a player intentionally makes a move to get in the way of the ball, it will be a kickball. Moving on to rule number 4, when a ball gets stuck on a block shot. So since we have a ball handy, let's just show you what rule we're talking about. So say offensive player goes up for a layup or a shot and I jump, I get airborne. So I jump, but Nelson has his hand on the ball at all times and I didn't let it go.
I pack it back down straight into his hands.
So, but I went airborne. So if I shot faked and he touched the ball, I didn't leave the ground, it is not a jump ball. But what we're getting to right now, if I jump and Nelson has his hand on the ball and I come back down, that is actually a jump ball. Oftentimes, especially in pickup games, the players continue to play.
Yeah, they continue like to dribble or to shoot it again. But by rule, the play should stop right then and there, and it is a jump ball. Another example is this: if I get my hand in there while you're going up with it.
Yeah.
So let's just say Kevin's driving in for a layup, and then he picks it up. I have my hand, and it kind of just stuck it for like a second.
Yeah, that's a jump ball also. So oftentimes, especially in pickup games at the gym, it's not an officiated game, players continue to play. This is not an interpretation type rule, so this is commonly called an officiated game, but this is more of a rule concerning pickup games.
Here is where it's not a jump ball. So let's just say I shoot it. Oh, dude, come on, dude. You didn't let me shoot it yet.
My bad, no. Like, hey, that's a good blooper. My bad.
Alright, so let's just say I shoot it and Kevin gets his hand on the ball, but it squirts out of my hands. I'm able to grab that back. So the play continues and I'm able to grab the ball where it's not a jump ball. So let's just say like he shoot it, he smacks it out and it looses it like that. That's not a jump ball.
That is not a jump ball. That the ball came loose and there's no longer possession, so you can pick up the ball again. It's just that when you go up, you get blocked, you go airborne. There is both players have their hands on a ball, so basically it's a jump ball because they couldn't determine who had possession of the ball. But when the ball comes loose, there's no longer possession, someone gathers possession again.
So anytime if you tie up an offensive player with the ball and they come back down with it after they go airborne, you should stop the play and be like, yo, it's a jump ball.
Let's shoot for it.
Right.
And
don't let the other guy be sneaky and continue to play on and try to score on you afterwards.
There's been plenty of times when we're playing pickup ball and that happens and we stop play because we assume everyone knows it's a jump ball and we stop playing defense and the guy continues to play. This is a big rule that's misinterpreted by people playing pickup ball. Like I said, in real games, the refs call this 9 out of 10 times, so we're not really concerned about officiated games for this specific rule. My bad, I didn't mean to smack it so hard. Or maybe I did on purpose.
Moving on to rule number 5, backcourt violation. This one can get pretty technical and very specific. In order for it to be a backcourt violation, 3 things have to advance into the front court to establish front court status in order for a backcourt violation to happen. 1, your left foot. 2, your right foot. And 3, the basketball. All 3 things have to advance into the front court to establish front court status, where if any of those 3 parts goes to the backcourt, then it is a backcourt violation.
Alright, now, so going to that, what if you have your left foot over the half court line, but your right foot is still behind it and you bring your left foot back? Is that a backcourt?
Nope.
Alright, so what if you have both feet over the half court line, but you're still dribbling the ball behind the half court line?
That is still legal, and you can actually bring both feet back into the backcourt and still having it be legal.
Alright, now, what if you have a left foot in the front court, a right foot in your back court, but you're dribbling the ball back and forth?
Like from the front court line and the back court line?
Yeah.
That is still legal.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that myself.
Yeah.
So once all three things cross the half court line and we're in the front court, left foot, right foot, ball, none of those three can go in the back court now or it will be considered back court.
Right. So if you have one or two of those things in the front court, you can move everything backwards in the back court.
But once all three is in front of the half court line, none of those three can go back anymore. Another variation of the backcourt violation is both feet and the ball have been crossed into the front court, and say the ball gets poked or someone makes a pass and gets deflected into the back court. If no one has touched the ball since the defender has tipped the ball, you as an offensive player can go into the backcourt and pick up the ball and continue on because it got deflected. But here is what is considered a backcourt, and even refs mess this up in real games. So say Nelson is dribbling the ball and passes half court, and he passes the ball to the wing, and the defender deflects the pass, and the ball actually goes and touches Nelson. So the defender deflects the pass, and
let's
it
just
goes
say I
on
try to grab it again, and it touches me last.
Yeah.
In the front court, and it goes in the back court. I cannot touch the ball first because I touched it last in the front court. Because I was the last person to touch the basketball in the front court, neither me or my offensive teammates can touch the ball first because it will be a backcourt violation.
So the reason being is there is never a change of possession. So if the defender tips the ball, but it goes back off of you, there is never a change of possession. So you as an offensive player always have possession. So if you touch it in the backcourt, it's considered backcourt.
For example, if I'm dribbling the ball, Kevin, reaches in, gets a hand on it, tips it off my foot, and it bounces off to the backcourt, I cannot go touch it because it touched my foot last.
But if I poke the ball out, it didn't touch Nelson and it goes in the backcourt, Nelson can go back in the backcourt and grab the ball because me as a defensive player was the last one to touch it.
Another variation for a backcourt violation is off a missed shot. Let's just say I take a long three-point shot and I miss. Whether it's the guys on my team or the guys on Kevin's team, tip the ball all the way to the backcourt, anyone could go get that basketball.
Yeah. Once the shot goes up and it leaves the offensive player's hands, it's no longer any team's possession.
It's a new possession for anybody.
And a tip is not considered possession. Another variation of the ball getting tipped into the backcourt is the ref's interpretation. So if the ref believes you have possession of the ball when you're making a tip, because some players actually have really big hands, and when they get the ball in one hand, they can actually palm the ball or get so much control of the ball, they can actually control it and tip it all the way back to their teammate. If it goes in the backcourt, like I said, it's based off the ref's interpretation. If they believe you had possession of the ball, that can still be backcourt.
It's like if it's a controlled tip and then the person knows where he's throwing or tapping the ball, then yes, that could be backcourt. But let's just say I blindly just tip it back without controlling it, not knowing where it's gonna go. And if it goes to the backcourt, anyone could go get that ball, whether it's the offensive team or the defensive team.
Yeah, so if we had Kawhi Leonard jump up for the offensive rebound, he palms the ball one hand mid-air and chucks the ball into the backcourt, it's gonna look like to the refs that he had possession. So that would be considered a backcourt. But most tips does not look like they have been controlled possession of the ball. So that's why it's not a backcourt.
And the last variation for the backcourt violation is passing the ball from the front court to the back court or from the back court to the front court. But there's two examples that lead into this. So one example is if the ball is already in the front court establishment, and let's just say I'm the trailer, Kevin's already in the front court, Kevin gets stuck, he needs to pass me the ball. I have to establish at least 1 foot in the front court before I can catch the ball when he passes to me. So let's just say a lot of times people jump from the back court but lands in the front court and catches the ball. By rule, that is a backcourt violation because that player never established his foot into the front court.
Yeah.
Because he jumped from the back court into the front court. If he lands 1 foot inside of the front court before he catches the ball, then it's legal.
But if he does not make any contact with the front court before touching the ball, it is considered backcourt. So the other example is, say the ball is in the backcourt, Nelson is in the backcourt dribbling, he picks up his dribble, but he gets stuck, and I'm in the front court right now, and I need to go help him out. I can go from the front court, to the backcourt to go catch the ball. But here's the tricky part. If I'm in the front court and I do not establish a foot in the backcourt and I catch the ball first, that is considered backcourt. So if I'm jumping from the front court and I land at least 1 foot, I can touch the ball. But if I jump from the front court to the backcourt and have not touched the floor yet and I catch the ball, that is considered backcourt.
Yep. So that's why a lot of times in like high school or college, a lot of teams like the full court press. So a lot of times what they teach you is like, let's just say if you're getting double teamed in the backcourt and you need your teammates to flash high from the, for an outlet pass.
Basically come towards the ball.
They have to run towards the ball, but let's just say if they have been sitting in the front court, they have to run to the backcourt. They have to establish themselves in the backcourt first before they can catch the ball.
Yeah, so oftentimes if you ever see this, you might see someone running to half court and they jump and land their feet real quick. Alright guys, I know we said top 5 rules that people get wrong or misinterpret, but we're gonna add in a bonus rule. So rule number 6, moving while fumbling the basketball. So you guys ever seen a situation, someone passes the ball and the guy does not cleanly pick up the ball and he's fumbling the ball, but he's taking steps as he's fumbling the ball and he finally grabs possession of the ball and he starts his 1-2 step for a layup. So now it looked like it took 5, 6, however many steps, but this is actually legal.
That offensive player has not have a controlled possession of the basketball.
This is actually also an interpretation of the ref.
Yep.
If the ref believes you do not have possession, you have not started your 1-2 step yet. But if he believes you had controlled possession, he's gonna start your 1-2 step. So if you're fumbling the ball, you couldn't grab it 2 hands, and then finally pick it up, then 1-2 step layup, it should be legal as long as the ref believes you did not have full possession of the ball.
Another example, let's just say if I'm dribbling down court, whether it's a fast break or if I'm just dribbling up, and then I accidentally messed up my dribble and I try to pick up the ball and the ball squirts out forward, I can legally run up to the ball and still catch it without it having to be a travel.
Yeah, the reason being is even though you tried to pick up the ball with 2 hands, it squirted out and never had full possession. You did not have controlled possession of the ball. And once again, this is up to the interpretation of the ref. But if you're dribbling, you try to pick it up, it squirts out, you never have possession. That is why it's okay for you to go and chase the ball and grab it.
And if I do retrieve that ball after it squirts out of my hands, I'm not able to dribble it again or else it will be a double dribble. At that point, I either have to shoot it or pass it out.
Unless when you get back to the ball, you never grab it 2 hands. You just continue dribbling.
Ah, yeah, that too.
Yeah, if you try to pick up the dribble and it squirts out, when you try to pick up 2 hands and you decide to grab the ball 2 hands, you can no longer dribble. You have to shoot it or pass it. But if the ball squirts out and you continue to dribble, that is technically still legal. Like I said, this is up to interpretation of ref whether you have possession or not. So another variation of this is when you have established position. So let's say I'm dribbling the ball, I pick up the dribble, and I'm about to shoot it or I'm about to pass it, but the ball slips out of my hands. I've already established possession and the ball slips out. If I have 1 foot established as my pivot foot is still stuck to the ground, I can actually step forward and grab the ball. But once I grab the ball, I cannot dribble again. But if I establish position, the ball slips out and I have to take multiple steps and lift up my pivot foot, I cannot be the first one to touch it or else that'll be a travel.
Alright guys, and that concludes the video on the top 5 basketball rules that people usually get wrong or misinterpreted. We hope you guys were able to learn a lot from this video because a lot of people actually don't know a lot of these rules, which is really common in basketball pickup games.
Very common. This always leads to arguments, especially in pickup games. Because when you're playing a real game, you let the ref do his job or her job and let them make the calls. But in pickup games,
there's no zebras out there, man. It's hard because, sometimes you're playing with people who are very knowledgeable about basketball, who know the rules, and sometimes people who know how to play basketball but actually don't know the rules. So it's like,
I would say the toughest thing is actually people who know how to play basketball but they only know NBA rules.
Yeah, those are like,
that's the worst one because like,
they just watch NBA because everyone loves to watch NBA, right? I mean, we love to watch NBA, but like they've never played school ball or any type of rec ball or league ball or anything. They just watch basketball and like to play basketball, at the park or pickup and stuff. In their mind, a lot of stuff they see on TV, they'll take that to the court.
Yeah, so right off the top, the NBA rules vary a lot from high school and college rules because there are a lot of rules set in place to have an advantage for offensive players.
Like for instance, in the NBA, there's defense at 3 seconds, but no one plays defense at 3 seconds in pickup games.
Yeah, and there's no restricted area in high school and college. right? Another thing is you can't double someone or be standing around playing a zone in the NBA unless you're in arm's reach.
Right,
of your player.
so it's like a lot. That's why a lot of these times I tell players, it's like, okay, if you're playing NBA rules, you're letting the ball go from out of bounds into the front court, or not being able to catch your own air balls. You're playing those NBA rules. Then why are you not playing the defensive three, or you're not playing the restricted area for double team? Like, it's very hard, but that's why I feel like a lot of people should go with the high school and college rules, because those rules are applied to more basketball games, whether it's pickup, league ball, rec ball, whatever. More people are accustomed to those rules than NBA rules. Because obviously, we're not playing in the NBA. Let us know down in the comments below, did you guys already know the rules that we covered today? If not, I hope you guys learned something.
And 2, is there any other rules that people get wrong or misinterpret that we did not cover in this video? Let us know down in the comments below.
Make sure to check out our social media in the description box down below. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, you guys like basketball and sneaker content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell notification so every time we drop a video, you guys will get notified. Also, check out these other videos up here. And until next time, Nelson and Kevin from Hoop and Life, we out.
Peace.